Mm, mm, mm. I'm gonna title this video "The Culture versus Kendrick Lamar." The absence of culture's most influential man on the culture's biggest night. This is when I started the idea of this video. It was meant to be an analysis of the BET Awards that happened last night. However, while sitting with this topic, thinking about it, there's a lot more to it than just an award ceremony that omitted its biggest supporter, the culture's one of its biggest supporters in music. I don't know, since Tupac, if we can go that far. Kendrick Lamar, and this is going to show my bias against Kendrick Lamar, so everyone who's going to comment, hopefully, on this video is going to accuse me of meat riding. You're dumb. Because, hey, I'm not going to say that one. But I would rather support a man who has been notoriously righteous over his entire career and his entire life, as far as we know, and has been honest and has owned up to his own integrity and has held his integrity intact for nearly 15 years. Should be commended. And he should be honored and respected. Kendrick Lamar has, for almost 2 decades of his hip-hop career, challenged himself and challenged his fans and listeners. To Pimp a Butterfly was the biggest challenge for anyone who respects the culture or who has any hope for the culture to improve at all. And I'm going to touch on the BET Awards briefly for a moment. It is rather disheartening as a man, as a black man, who loves and appreciates culture and who loves and appreciates everything about the black experience. Wouldn't change it for the world. To see not only your favorite hip-hop artist, possibly one of the best activists that we have that is actively pushing the conversations forward about change that needs to happen, get shirked and get disregarded, in a sense, kind of just passed over by a company that is labeled BET, the Black Entertainment Television Program. Black Entertainment Television. Kendrick Lamar can entertain, but he's more focused on activism, in a sense. And that's very disheartening to hear, that when you bring somebody like Sexy Red onto a show and you have her perform and she's being nominated for awards along with the hip-hop culture's biggest vulture and biggest stealer and thief in Aubrey Graham, it's a very sad reality that artists and creatives must face now. And I think artists have been having this conversation, real artists and real creatives have been having this conversation of they're getting glanced over because nobody likes to think about what they talk about. And it's a very sad thing. But I'm rambling. If we're going to talk about Kendrick Lamar on a cultural standpoint, then we have to address To Pimp a Butterfly and a little bit of Section 80, but Section 80 is more of a introspective. Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly. 3 consecutive albums that address serious problems within the culture. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers does in a more introspective format where we address Kendrick more, But those 3 albums, Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly, is addressing the culture. And the song that really addresses that is, I can't think of it right now. What is the song? I think I can't think of it now. Maybe Real. Let's use Real from Good Kid, Mad City. Real, Kendrick dissects the principle, dissects different archetypes of people who consider themselves to be real when they're in fact not. And that is a conversation that we now need to have. What is authenticity? What is integrity? Who are the people who can stand behind their integrity and say and claim, I'm going to be honest and show some artistic integrity, some personal integrity, personal accountability for the things that happen, the things that are happening around me and the things that I cause. And the culture now has to own up to the fact that we are, as a culture and as a people, black people in general, are a very inauthentic people. We don't know our history. We don't know where we come from. And even when people try to tell us where we come from, we shoot them off like they're crazy or something. And that's a very bad reality when you're incapable of listening and you're incapable of digesting knowledge. But there's so much knowledge around you. You just need to open your ears and listen to it. I feel like I'm rambling too much. Let's get back on topic. The BET analysis. The two like more of nods that we gave to Kendrick, that BET gave to Kendrick, was the opening. It was the opening where Taraji P. Henson does a parody of Not Like Us, which I thought was okay. Can't obviously play the entire record on television because that would be not wise from a contextual standpoint when BET is owned by a white organization. More on that later. And when they did the calendar countdown, they more of addressed the Kendrick and Drake beef. Just, it happened. Let's move on. But that was the biggest cultural thing that happened this year. Other than Cat Williams. But that was the biggest cultural battle that we have had. Here you have a man who has represented authenticity, artistic integrity, creativism in its purest sense of the word, going against a man who doesn't really know who he is and who is attempting to tell everybody, hey man, I'm a part of the culture. Hey man, I'm a gangster. I'm a real street dude. But for multiple years, you didn't act like that. So why act like that now? And that's the thing that Kendrick keeps picking apart about Drake. You listen to the disses. That's the overarching theme. Also that Drake is a pedophile, which I'm inclined to believe if we look at the evidence. He's picking apart an inauthentic man who is attempting to portray authenticity to an art and to a people who need authenticity the most. And as a byproduct and by proxy, we are becoming the thing that we cannot afford to be, which is inauthentic and deceiving ourselves. It's bad enough to lie to someone. It's worse, I would argue that it's much worse to lie to yourself about who you are. In Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life, in fact, it's right here. He makes, I can't remember which rule it is. I'll just look at it then. Rule 8. Rule 8. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. That's what we've been asking That's what we've been asking our creatives. That's what we've been asking our leaders. That's what we've been asking pastors. That's what we've been asking people with a platform and a voice to speak for us. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie to us. And Drake cannot say that he is not a liar. Kendrick can't say that he's not a liar. But Kendrick told us that there are some times that he lied. There were some times that he lied. I can respect a man who lies and is willing to say, I lied. Please forgive me. That's enough on that. But back to BET. I'm rambling too much. I gotta fix the format of these videos. Like 10 minutes and I'm just rambling for 5 of them. When you swap a man who will go down not only in hip-hop history as one of the greatest, but could possibly go down as if we were to make a Smithsonian museum of activists and people who have led the charge in propelling the culture forward in Kendrick Lamar, for someone like Sexy Red, who has promoted whoredoms and promiscuity amongst girls. Remember, she went to a high school and tried to do her same act. It's leaps and bounds amongst what I would call ethical and good form. It's leaps and bounds above it. And it really needs to be studied how we can let someone into our culture who has no respect of it and who looks to warp the minds of young girls who have no idea what it's like to be women into this is what you should be doing. Maybe this is me coming from an 18-year-old who constantly listens to Kendrick Lamar, Dick Gregory, and Malcolm X, and all these different voices who I believe to have a good view of what our culture should be and the things that we need to fix it. It's almost like we just spit in the face of God. It's almost like we have spit in the face of God and say, we know what is best for us. We know what we're doing. There's no reason. Let us make our own decisions. And in effect, you can't make your own decisions. You can't do that. You have free will, but there has to be some principle that you live behind. There has to be some code that you live behind. The human brain by itself cannot invent culture. By itself, it has to have a principle in which it is founded, and our principle should be God first. Love your family and your community, integrity, and creative, artistic integrity. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. This is what we're saying. But I'm going to make this closing statement and then I'll end this video. To neglect a man, it seems to me that the culture has a very serious problem with Kendrick Lamar and how he approaches his music. While the man won 17 Grammys, which I think is baffling. To attempt to say that Kendrick Lamar is terrible is a very bad thing. But to omit him almost from having a voice, in a sense, 2 and 2 don't equal 4 in that equation. So to close out this video, yeah, I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan, and I think that we should include more extremely creative people into our culture. And culture is not just a black or white thing, but I'm addressing this on a black thing. Culture is not a black thing. It's an integrity and a truth thing. Those who are willing to stand behind the integrity and the truth, we can have a serious conversation. So that was another video. Hope you all are having a great day. Peace. Shalom.